Hello and welcome to the 138th episode of Fur, Fins, and Feathers. Our guest, once again, nice to see you again, is Eric Letendre of Westport, who is the owner of...
Eric Letender's Dog Training School.
There's been a lot of different issues going on in the canine world lately.
Yeah, sure is. Sure is. Right, Skye?
A lot of them have brought local attention.
Yeah. Skye. Down. Good girl.
Good girl, Skye. Talk about a big development lately that got a lot of local press and beyond.
Yeah, I was just working with Terry Cripps over at Fairhaven Animal Shelter.
Who was on our show.
Oh, yeah, Terry's been here before. Yeah, absolutely. So over in Fairhaven, I was on the news, all over social media. There was a guy that was getting evicted from his house, and he had 3 pit bulls that he was breeding. And he had a litter of puppies, I think it was around 8 or 9 puppies, and he was getting evicted. And since he was getting evicted, he had no place to go, and he had no place to go with his dogs. So he called Terry. I think Terry had an hour and a half to get over there and get all the puppies and the dogs and bring them back to the shelter. So now Terry has the 3 adults, all the puppies, and he has to find homes for all of them. So,
which is no easy feat.
Well, the thing that Terry's big on, he's a very dedicated animal control officer, and he is not going to let those puppies go until they're all spayed and neutered, because he doesn't want this to keep happening. Because as we were talking about earlier, right, backyard breeding can be a problem. People breeding their dogs, and then they're not the best quality. Sometimes they go out into the community and they have problems, and then when they have problems, they have to go to a trainer, and sometimes the people don't want to pay for the training. And that's the number one reason dogs end up in shelters today, is because of behavior problems. Number one reason for dogs being put down is behavior problems. Okay, there's more deaths from dogs for behavior problems than anything else. All the health-related issues added up don't come close to how many dogs are put down because of behavior problems. So that's the whole thing, is things getting a little tight. People are kind of saying, they don't want to pay for training. They don't want to, do these things because, hey, it's understandable. The economy is a little tight right now.
People cannot afford to feed their dogs if they cannot feed themselves.
Oh, exactly.
And that's a big problem.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, with all the prices going up on everything, it's kind of hard, right? And when it comes down to you and your kids and your dog, that's why you see some of these dogs, like I said, ending up at shelters, some dogs getting dumped. It's kind of a problem right now.
People have told me locally that it's not uncommon to see a dog tied to a chain outside of a shelter or outside of a boarding facility or whatever.
Or even just on the side of the road.
Exactly.
Yeah. Years ago, I did animal control for Fall River.
I remember.
Yeah, I did that for about 3 years. And up the reservation, we'd find dogs tied to trees. Dogs just tied to a tree, or dogs just let loose out back there. So, it's becoming a problem. Always has been a problem. Seems like it's getting a little bit of a worse problem right now, though.
Going back to what you were just talking about pit bulls. Talk about pit bulls. There's such a misnomer there.
Yeah. So the funny thing about pit bulls is that they have a bad reputation, because a pit bull is a serious dog. If they decide to do some damage, they can, but any dog can do damage. The thing that people have to remember is that all dogs are predatory animals, right? They're all predators. And predators, the way they survive is through killing other animals. So when you bring a dog into your house, you have to understand that this dog, if there's a problem, if the dog's not properly trained, if there's a conflict, you have to remember that predators resolve conflict with aggression. So that's why it's so important to train a dog, because if you have a dog that comes into the house and the dog starts to guard its bone or a toy or its food or its sleeping areas, if that dog's not properly trained, that dog will use aggression to resolve the problem. The problem may be the dog's thinking that you're going to take the bone or the food away. And so since that's a problem for the dog, it's a conflict, the dog could use that aggression. And that's what you always have to be careful of. And so when a pit bull decides to use aggression, they do a lot of damage because they're very strong, powerful dogs. But the flip side to that is they're wonderful dogs. They really are. I know there's plenty of people that might be watching this thinking, oh yeah, because there's a lot of pit bull haters, right? People that don't understand the breed, they really hate pit bulls, but they are...
As a terrier judge, I know.
Right, yeah, exactly, that's right. They really don't like the breed. There's a radio guy up in Boston who's always beating up on pit bulls. I forget his name, but he's always saying all these bad things about pit bulls, but they really are great dogs. If you go back to Little Rascals, remember that show, Little Rascals?
Of course.
Remember Petey?
Of course.
Petey was a pit bull. Petey, the dog for the Little Rascals, was a pit bull. And the reason they're such great dogs is because pit bulls have a high tolerance for just about anything, right? So like if you have even like a German Shepherd and you accidentally step on its paw or its tail, right? They get kind of dramatic. They jump up. Whoa, what are you doing? Pit bulls really, they can take a lot, right? You can drop things on them, not that you'd want to, but if something like that happens, if a little kid grabs a pit bull or if you step on their paw, their tail accidentally, they can handle it. They're just very tolerant dogs. They really are. And so the thing is, because they're very strong, powerful dogs, they became popular with gangs and things like that. And so they use them for fighting. And once a pit bull, like I said, goes to the dark side, it is a dangerous situation. But as a breed, they're really, really wonderful dogs. I love pit bulls. I think they're great dogs. And I've worked with tons of them. I have a guy that just called me last week, and his pit bull's giving him some problems. And he made the appointment. He called me back a couple hours later, and he says, "Are you okay with me coming in with a pit bull?" He was nervous about bringing his pit bull to me because he wanted to make sure that I had some experience and I wasn't going to be nervous. I guess he had called another trainer, and as soon as he had said it was a pit bull, the guy said, "Nope, no pit bulls in my place." So I think that's really unfair and unfortunate because they are a wonderful breed. And the thing I always tell pit bull owners is that, unfortunately, when you have a pit bull, you already have 2 strikes against it. So for example, if a Labrador Retriever or a Golden Retriever nips you, that's just a Golden. They're nice dogs. Nothing to worry about. If a pit bull nips you, oh my God, it's a pit bull. That dog tried to kill me, right? And so a Golden can get away with things and a Labrador can get away with things, but a pit bull can't. So I'm always telling pit bull owners, your dog has to be really well trained. They have to be better than the other dogs because you have to always be careful because, again, your dog, what's the matter, girl? There you go. She's getting upset I'm not talking about German Shepherds. She doesn't like me talking about pit bulls.
That's another breed that suffered
Absolutely.
bad rep.
Exactly. I had to make sure Skye, when I adopted her, I got her at 2 years old, I had to really work with her to make sure she was friendly and good around people. And when I came in here today, because we're at Swansea High School, when I came in, of course, everybody sees, right? Everybody wants to come over and pet Skye. And no problem, come on over, you can pet her. I would never let anybody pet her if I thought she was going to bite them, right? If she wasn't social, if she wasn't good around people. So I work really hard to make sure that my dogs and people that train with me, I always want that dog to be really friendly and accepting of anybody in the public coming up to them.
It can pertain to any breed.
Exactly. Exactly.
I was exhibiting for an owner
Yep.
a silky terrier in Canada, in Montreal. And the silky nailed me right in front of the judge.
Really?
I put the dog on the table and he nipped me.
Yeah.
Right in front of the judge. And I was going to say, it's not my dog.
Yeah, right.
I'm showing it for someone. And I ended up winning the breed. I'm surprised.
Really?
The judge overlooked things and gave me the dog best of breed.
Wow.
But I said to the woman when I handed her back the dog, I said, never again.
Yeah.
I will not take him. That's your responsibility.
Yeah. Yep.
So it can happen to anybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, guess what dog I've been bitten by the most? What breed? You know what it is. You know what it is?
Is it Chow?
Close. Chihuahua.
Doesn't surprise me.
Right? Chihuahuas. Those little guys. And I love Chihuahuas. I think it's a great breed. Except Chihuahuas can be, because they tend to be coddled. Everybody picks them up. They don't let them deal with things. And so Chihuahuas tend to become a little bit on the nasty side. But again, it's a great breed. I don't really think there's any bad breeds. I just think that there's untrained dogs. That's what it really comes down to. Especially in today's society, you have to really train your dog. You agree with that, right?
Many dogs are coming now from the islands,
Yeah.
the Caribbean. Talk about that.
Well, they're coming up from down south, right? A lot of dogs coming from North Carolina, Texas, Georgia. A lot of them coming up. And there's dogs,
Alabama, big
Alabama,
time.
yeah. And then there's a lot coming up from Aruba, Puerto Rico, a lot of Caribbean islands. There's dogs coming up. And the big thing is that it's kind of a different culture in some of these places, where the dogs, if they have puppies, right, they just kind of let them run loose. And so there's a big overpopulation problem. And so what they're doing is there's a lot of rescues right now that round up these dogs, ship them up north, and they have these big adoption days. I don't think, for a while there, they didn't have in Massachusetts. Everybody that adopted a dog from down south used to go to Connecticut, because that's where it was legal in Connecticut, but not in Massachusetts.
And in Rhode Island, too.
Oh, in Rhode Island, too, right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it changed in Massachusetts. It might have. But I remember that everybody was going to Connecticut, and they'd have these big vans. Everybody'd pull up, all these puppies, all of them from down south, from the islands, from all these different places. So that's where we're getting a lot of dogs from right now, because of the overpopulation down south, a lot of places.
And people get big bucks for these dogs, don't they?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not like $50 or $20 anymore. It's still a lot of them too. They will. I think they try and spay and neuter them before they adopt them out. So that's going to increase the cost.
So what advice? Not everybody is going to want a purebred dog.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because mixed breeds are fabulous dogs,
Absolutely.
too.
I love mixed breeds.
What advice, Eric, would you give someone who's looking, it's going to be warm in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
No kidding.
What advice would you give for a potential owner?
So they're looking for a dog.
Looking for a dog, a family dog.
Yeah. So what advice would I give them? So yeah, it's a great question. The big thing is that you have to try to fit a dog that matches your personality. So if you're a really active person and you like going hiking and walking on the beach and doing a lot of things outside, right? You want to get a dog that's going to match your personality. So think of like a Mastiff, right? Mastiffs are actually couch potatoes, right? They actually make great apartment dogs because they're not real active, right? Mastiff goes for a run 50 feet and he's like, okay, I'm good. I'm done for the day. So if you're a really active person, likes to go hiking and doing a lot of these outdoor activities, Mastiff might not be the right dog for you. Maybe a Lab, a Golden, a Border Collie, right? And on the flip side, let's say you're you like watching movies and playing video games. You might want to think about getting a Mastiff, right? That's the first thing, is that you have to consider what kind of dog, what's the dog's activity level? Because dogs do have different activity levels, right? I saw one time this couple came into me, and they love playing video games. They love watching movies, right? Very relaxed, like homebodies. And they walk in with a German short-haired pointer.
Not really.
And this dog just bounced off the walls, right? Because that's what German short-haired pointers do.
Of course, that's what they're bred for.
And so wasn't a good fit, right? Wasn't a good fit. So that's the first thing that you have to consider, right? Is, what kind of dog is going to match my personality. The other thing you got to consider is how much do I want to spend on this dog? Again, right? If you have a Chihuahua or you have a Mastiff, a Chihuahua, a 20-pound bag of food is going to last you a month. A Mastiff, a 20-pound bag of food is going to last you a couple of days, right? So bigger dogs are more expensive. So you have to take that into consideration, right? If you groom a dog, right? Think about like a Labradoodle is very popular, right? So you got to get a Labradoodle. I think the going right now is to get a Labradoodle groomed is between $100 and $150. So that's something you have to consider. Every 6 weeks, I got to get this Labradoodle groomed, or this poodle, or whatever, right? Now, if you have a pit bull, that dog doesn't require grooming like a Labradoodle or a poodle.
A hound glove.
A hound glove,
Quick.
yeah, exactly. You're done.
We're done in 5 minutes.
We're done, right? So you have to consider the expense of that dog, because some dogs are more expensive than other dogs, right? Just to upkeep, the amount of food you have to feed them.
Even the cost of veterinary care.
Cost of veterinary care, right? Boarding. So that's where you have to take into consideration. And then the other thing you have to take into consideration is, do I want a hairy dog, right? That's a big game changer for a lot of people. Some people don't want a dog like a German Shepherd or a Lab because they don't like the fur in the corners of the house, right? And having to sweep every day. Now, if you get a poodle or a doodle, that's why doodles are so popular, right? Because they're hypoallergenic. So if you're allergic to the dog, I know I'm talking about you, huh? If you're allergic to the dog, or your kids are, right? You can usually have a doodle. And also they don't shed like a German Shepherd or a Lab or a Golden or anything like that. So those are all the things that you have to take into consideration, right? And then, of course, the most important thing is you got to train the dog.
And provide it some activity.
Oh, of course. Yeah, without giving the dog exercise, I had, just last week, I had someone come in and they wanted some training. And I actually turned them away. I said, you don't really have a training problem here. I said, you have an energy problem. I said, all the money that you're going to spend on me, I want you to go either hire a dog walker, go to find a good dog daycare, right? Spend the money on giving this poor dog some exercise. Because this dog, again, needs the training, but it really needed the exercise. And without getting that exercise, all the training in the world wasn't going to work, right? You can't train a pent-up dog that can't burn out that energy. That's why dog daycare has become so popular, right? You know who started the first dog daycare in the area? 1995?
You did.
I did. Everybody thought I was nuts. In 95, dog daycare, that was, right?
Because I remember writing a story about you in 1995.
Exactly. Right on Dwelly Street in Fall River.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, everybody thought it was nuts back then, but now every town has at least 2 or 3 dog daycares, right? Camp Bow Wow, one of the biggest dog daycare franchises, is right here in Swansea now. Beautiful place, by the way. Run by some great people. Great place to go bring your dog for dog daycare. Like a lot of them are in this area. But that's why it's become so popular, because you have to give your dog that exercise. But we're all busy now, right? Kids have karate, people working 2 jobs. It's hard to get the dog the exercise they need sometimes. So
exercise is important, not only for purebreds, but mixed breeds. Talk about dive. Have you ever witnessed a diving competition?
Yeah, absolutely. That's really popular,
and that's
right?
very popular. There's a lot of different kinds of activities. The AKC has, changed direction in a lot of cases, and you can go now with mixed breeds.
Yeah, they're really good with that.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Diving.
I think you can do competitive obedience now, but
you can.
But the dog has to be neutered or spayed.
Yes.
Yeah. And now they got rally. I'm doing a rally class next month. Rally O. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Rally O. You got Skye. You got dock diving.
Earth dog,
fly ball, right? Nose work, canine good citizen. So many different activities that you can do with your dog. You couldn't cover them all, right? But that's the thing, is that there's all these great activities that you can start doing with your dog that
they're more family oriented.
Yeah. I think the AKC is doing a great job with that, coming up with all these different things. Because the dog needs the physical activity, but they also need that mental stimulation. That's what the AKC stuff provides.
And it's good for families.
Absolutely.
So it's a family sport.
Right. Everybody can take part in it.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, of course.
I remember the days when I first started in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
All you did was confirmation.
Yep.
And then if you wanted to, you could do obedience, and that was it.
That was it. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm dating myself, but that was 45 years ago.
And you started with Kerry Blues, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you just did the confirmation. Did you do the obedience?
No, I never did
You
obedience.
just did the confirmation, right?
Yeah, because Kerry Blues they were not obedient.
Right. Now, when did you become a judge? In 1980?
89.
89.
In 89.
So you did all the shows for about 9 years.
Oh, and I continued on.
Yeah.
But, and I only did junior showmanship.
How did you become a judge?
I was asked to judge matches.
Yeah.
We had matches in those days where they were more informal activities. And they had asked me, and I said, hey, I'd like to do this. And somebody from the AKC said to me, you would be a very good junior showmanship judge with the kids. And I was teaching school at the time, so I have still kept it up. I judged last year, a couple of not like I did. I should have gone on to get more breeds and things like that, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I have friends that judge all over the world.
Yeah.
On their dime.
Yeah.
I have friends that go to Australia maybe once a year.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They go to South America many times. It's quite popular for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's been a very good, enjoyable activity.
Yeah.
Of course, there's 195 breeds now that are registered and recognized.
Now, when you're a judge, you have to know all the breeds that you're judging, or just?
See, like this year, I judged junior showmanship, but I am supposed to know every breed that comes in the group in the ring to me.
Yeah. Now, to become a judge, did you have to take a test or anything like that?
It has gotten to the point where, yes, you have to have a test.
Got it.
And that's changed, too.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Westminster?
I have, in Westminster. Well, Westminster this year was at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
They were out in the hinterlands, out on on Long Island, but now they're back in the garden.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing experience.
Yeah. Now, I went there once when it was at Madison Square Garden. It's great how they let you walk back there and see all the dogs getting prepped and everything. They're pretty.
It's quite an education.
Yeah. I've been to a lot of shows too at the Big E in West Springfield.
I've judged so many times there.
Yeah.
Those are big shows.
Yeah. I go to the big Thanksgiving one every year after.
They just had it.
Yeah, right after
in
Thanksgiving.
November.
Yep. That's a good show because there's so many different clubs there.
There are. The majority of dog shows now are held in that convention center in West Springfield.
Yeah, I know. Everything goes there. They do a big agility show there too. That's a lot of fun.
Now our show is coming up. I'm the vice president of the Rhode Island Kennel Club. Our show is going to be in West Warwick, in North Kingstown. North Kingstown, and we'll be doing a promo for that show in a couple of weeks. But they're in North Kingstown.
Nice. Sounds good.
And hopefully we'll get a good entry. I had a meeting the other night. Hopefully we will have a good entry. People are starting to get back into dogs.
Oh yeah. They started to do more shows. You see more.
They're
people
doing
shows?
more shows.
Yeah.
I've got a few judging assignments coming up. Yeah, things are getting back to normal.
Yeah, that's good.
What's your favorite breed?
Probably German Shepherd.
German Shepherd?
I've always been a German Shepherd guy. Yeah, I like Shelties too, though. I like Shelties a lot. I think my next dog might be a Sheltie.
Would you show it?
Probably not.
Maybe obedience?
I would like to. You know, the problem is that I'm just so busy on weekends. You know, that's when I do a lot of my work. So it's hard for me to get away to go to shows and stuff like that. You know, like my kids right now. They're one's really involved with ninja, the other American, Ninja Warrior stuff, and then the other one's really involved with dance, and all their stuff is on weekends.
How old are they now?
9 and 12. So
they were babies when I saw them.
I know. So it's hard for me to, to between my business and their shows, and then to go do some obedience and stuff would be tough. But I'd like to.
What are some breeds, Eric, that you would maybe recommend for a family dog?
Sheltie.
A Sheltie?
Oh, I like Shelties. I think they're great dogs. They're easy to train, right? Really easy to train. Most people love Shelties, the look of them. They are herders, so I mean you got to deal with that a little bit with kids. But I mean Shelties, you can never go wrong with a lab. I mean labs, right? Labs are the most popular breed year after year after year in the country because they're just great family dogs. You can do anything with them, right? You can train them. You can go swimming with them. You can go hiking with them. You can go fishing with them. You can go hunting with them, right? Everybody loves a lab. The problem with labs, they tend to be a little overstimulated. So again, you got to get that training in so they don't tackle everybody when they come in the door.
We had a guest on not long ago who had flat-coated retrievers. That's a nice breed.
Nice dog.
Very beautiful breed.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, there's so many great breeds. And again, mixed breeds, right? A lot of great mixed breed dogs in all the shelters and kennels and rescues. But yeah, no, I mean, again, I think pit bulls are good family dogs. I really do. A lot of people would disagree with me on that one, but I think a pit bull is a great family dog, especially if you get it young and you train it. They're very, very tolerant dogs, which
the
is what I
important
like.
word is training.
Exactly.
You cannot just ignore it.
Right.
And think it's going to take care of itself.
Yeah, and it's funny when it comes to training, so many people think that they got to wait. I'm going to wait till the dog's a year old or 6 months old. And really, the smartest thing to do is get the puppy in for training at 10 weeks old. Start right away. And the other thing that people think is that the dog's going to grow out of it. Oh, he's going to grow out of the jumping, right? He's going to grow out of the
That just doesn't come to reality.
No. If anything, it gets worse and worse. And so that's the big thing is that.
And that's why so many dogs end up in shelters.
Exactly. Sometimes just for house training issues, very fixable, easy things, and the poor dog ends up in a shelter.
I am being told.
That's it.
This is it. How many times have you been out? Is this your 4th or 5th time?
I think it's 5.
5. Well, we're going to continue.
Okay.
We'll do something in the spring.
Okay.
Skye, it was great to see you again, and thank you for coming again.
Thanks for having me.